Hi, my name is Ebenezer. I'm a business strategy consultant and a data specialist. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm still on the Power BI Guru series. I've already interviewed about 4 MVPs from Microsoft. So far, this is my first interview with a Ghanaian. And if you know, or you've been following my channel, you know that I've been pushing for Ghanaians to be in the limelight of Power BI. So I'm very excited today to interview a Ghanaian who is a guru in Power BI, has been using Power BI for quite some time now, and it's one of the gurus in Power BI in the country and the continent at large. She comes from a very practical background with experience in the banking sector in Ghana and Africa at large. So my guest today is Sarah Oppan with the EcoBank Group. I would like her to introduce herself. I would not want to take the whole juice out of her before that. So I want her to introduce herself, what she does at the EcoBank Group, and then we can continue from there. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you very much, Ebenezer. Thank you for having me once again. As you know, my name is Sarah Oppan. I work with the EcoBank Group. To be precise, E-Process, which is the technology arm for the EcoBank Group. I sit in Ghana. I'm the head of data and analytics, overseeing BI-related tasks, analytics, big data, and everything data and analytics in the EcoBank Group. That is the 33 countries in which we have presence. So wow. That is what I do in EcoBank.
All right. So we have today the head of analytics in the whole of EcoBank Group. So she sits in Accra and oversees all EcoBank's operations worldwide. So she's the go-to lady for data in EcoBank Group. So Sarah, welcome. How did you get into Power BI? I mean, how was your journey like to get into Power BI? How did you discover Power BI?
Okay, so in EcoBank, we've been doing reporting for a while using data. You know, we're a financial institution, so we've been using data for a while. We have a lot of tools that we use. I wouldn't like to mention them, but we had a lot of reporting tools. And then there were a few things we're looking at doing. And the other tools we had were giving us a bit of a challenge. I mean, you have to call the vendor in or a consultant in to configure one thing or the other, licensing issues and all that. So one of the senior execs mentioned that, look, he's heard about this Power BI thing. Can the Microsoft team introduce us to it? So they introduced us. We looked at it and we said, it's not too far from the tools that we use. I mean, it's BI, it's reporting, it's data. Let's try our hands on it. So we took a small project to work on and realized that, wow, it's just a matter of having good knowledge of one or two things, a few clicks, and you have an interesting output. So why not? We got into it, and it's been 4 years.
Wow. Wow. So that's way back around 2016 there. That's very early stages of Power BI.
Exactly. So we were fortunate to have the Microsoft team themselves coming in to a demo of the tool, and kind of we got hold of it, and they were very surprised with what we've done with Power BI. And recently they did a video shoot of some of the things that we've done with Power BI for their marketing purposes.
Okay. Wow. So, I mean, my guru today has been with Power BI right from the beginning and has been using it for the past at least 5 years. I think my second question dovetails into what you just said, or what you just said dovetails into my second question, which is the usefulness of Power BI and the ease of learning. in your opinion, what is the usefulness of Power BI and the ease of learning for any new beginner?
Okay. I would like to mention that, well, if you already are familiar with data structures or familiar with Excel or doing some kind of reporting where you know how data is arranged in terms of rows and columns, and also understand presenting data using visuals, it will be very easy for you to get used to or onboard onto Power BI. It's not too difficult. Now, if you are new and you don't understand data structures, then you say it's a bit of a challenge. But if you are, I can say that it's just a matter of following the same principles. Because Power BI has a lot of data sources that it can interface with. So there's that kind of flexibility. But if you are very good with what do you call it, Excel, then you don't have any challenge at all. It's just a matter of a transition. Is Excel with some juicy things on top of it, which makes the usage very, very exciting. So it's not difficult. We can go into detail as we go along.
All right. Since you are in the industry already, in the business circle, what do you think are the opportunities that businesses can take advantage of or can leverage with Power BI in general?
So I will say that the onboarding process is very simple. You can buy a license, a premium license, or you can get a pro license, they call it. They also have the free version, which is the desktop. The desktop is a free version. Now, once you know what you want to present or what you want to do with your data, that is the starting point. So you get your Power BI license, connect your data. It could be Excel. It could be as simple as your Excel database or your SQL or your PLSQL database, which is Oracle, or whatever it is. Now, once you have your desktop, you connect to it, it will consolidate all your data for you. Now, once it consolidates, you can structure it in the way you want. I mean, you can create your own data sets. You can create it based on your business. Maybe you want to have your customer data, customer-related data mart on one side, have your financial on another, or you can bring it all together depending on how you want to do it. Okay. Now, for any organization who knows what they want to do with their data, I will say that getting Power BI is cheap, relatively cheap. If you want to go bigger, the enterprise scale is flexible. You can scale up. And also, it doesn't really matter what data you have. Then again, they have very rich visuals. Okay, so you can play around with all the visuals. There are some that are open sources, you can pull them into what you have. So for any organization who wants to use Power BI for their reporting, it's just a matter of, do you have the data? What do you want to use your data for? Do you have the skills in-house? And I think basically that's what you need. You can start as little as £100. Sorry, $100.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that one thing that you actually talked about is for organizations to first know what they want to do with their data, which is the starting point for most organizations who fail. Like most organizations that fail in these usage of tools is a problem of not clearly defining what they want to achieve with their data set. Because without that objective, it is like you're just trying to rope on something without any objective or any strategy in place. And it's one thing that I think all organizations who want to rope into Power BI would have to decide on before they rope in, that what do we want to achieve with our data, which is the data strategy itself. And then onboard Power BI, which is a very flexible tool, like you said. One key thing is in this consolidation, which serves like more of an ERP without paying so much for an ERP, because you bring all your data sources together to get a business value. But I mean, from my interview so far, has been people outside Ghana. What do you think are the opportunities for Power BI for industries in Ghana itself, in our country? What are the opportunities for organizations? So as people don't look at it as it is, or I mean, Ghana is not there yet, and it's foreign entities that are using analytics today. What are the opportunities, and what would you advise, like a business executive today who is yet to actually rope into Power BI and data analysis as a whole?
So for Ghana or industries in Ghana, I think it's not different from what is happening in Europe or in Asia. Data is data. Data strategy is data strategy. The industries we have here, be it financial institution or retail organization, it doesn't change. What is important is the skills. Do you have the skills in-house to do it? If you don't have the skills, is there a resource person or a group that can train your staff for you? I believe there are a few. Okay. Now, secondly, I also believe that once you decide that the tool you want to use is Power BI, you'll have to train your people to be able to do that. If you're not ready to take the task of training, because it might take some time for them to get to get a hold of the skills, you can outsource that particular task. Okay. Again, there are organizations that can do that for you, and then over time transition and then hand over to your team so that they can run it in-house. Okay. So I believe that it's a strategical thing. You decide that I want to go to Power BI. I don't have the resources. Do I outsource? Do I train immediately and have the patience to wait for them to get up to speed? Or we do the hybrid approach where the skilled resources come in, work with your team in-house, and then gradually hand over to them, and then they run on their own. Okay, so these are the ways we have to look at it. Now, all these resources are available in Ghana. There are agencies or organizations, small organizations that provide these services. And I'm sure that if any organization or any company decides to go to enrich their data sets or have visuals or data to run their shop, they can get that services provided to them. Again, in Ghana, many are using Excel already. You have a lot of people using Excel. Excel is I think is the most used Microsoft tool.
Business productivity tool. Yeah.
Exactly. Others use business objects, report services, you name it, many. So getting people from that background to transition to be Power BI developers and users is not too difficult. They just need to understand the way Power BI works and the numerous interfaces that it can integrate with. Okay, so I think it doesn't really matter whether it's in Ghana or Europe or Asia. It's the same anywhere, everywhere. So I mean, that's the way I see it.
Tara's point is well made that, I mean, whatever, once there is data, whether you are in Europe or Ghana, it makes no difference. You can actually mine it to make meaning. And like she rightly said, there are consultants around. Sarah is one. If you want to help your in-house team to build like a capability and the capacity for Power BI to get the best out of your data, you can always get in touch with her. I've actually seen some works of her and it's amazing. So Sarah, what has been, I mean, with your experience, what have been some of the analysis that financial services, especially I'm bringing it down home to Ghana, that our financial industries can actually carry out to get value in their business? So what are some of the analysis you think that would be relatable to businesses, especially in the financial sector, that they can get value in their day-to-day, especially using Power BI?
Mm. Okay. So since the question is around financial institution, I will restrict it to financial institution. Okay. There are several analyses they can do. You can do a vertical analysis or a horizontal analysis. Vertical, where you are looking at your data side by side, okay, from left to right. Horizontal, horizontal, where you're looking at it from left to right. Vertical, when you're looking from top to down. Now, what are you looking for? You can do variance analysis. But variance analysis, you're looking at one column comparing with the other and find out what difference you see, what has changed, or what alerts you can see from your data based on the comparison you are making. So that's variance analysis. You can also do trend analysis, okay, in Power BI, where a financial institution is looking at what happened yesterday in terms of my balance as of yesterday comparing to today. Has there been a growth or a dip? And if there's a dip, what caused it? If there's a growth, what happened? Okay, so you can do a trend analysis. You can go as far back comparing this year, same time this year with last year, same time last year, where you're looking at comparing these two periods. Have we generated more revenue? Has our customer acquisition grown over time? Or have we lost some customers? All right. Also, we can also do what do you call this? Profitability analysis, where you take one customer, look at their transactions or their behavior over the period of time they've been with you to see whether they are profitable. Okay, by so doing, it helps you segment your customers and see what kind of service you need to provide or what kind of products you need to zoom in and provide to these customers. So there are a lot of analysis you can do for in a financial institution with the data that you have in Power BI. And Power BI has that flexibility. You can even analyze your balance sheets, your P&L. There are a lot of visuals because Power BI has this open source development where people who like to develop or design visuals, they drop it, it's validated. When it can be used, they drop it there. There's a nice tool I saw recently that I can use to prepare a balance sheet, and it's amazing. So
wow.
You can compare.
Can you make mention of that?
Yeah, it's there. You can compare your financial statements, the trends, put your chart of accounts in, and then also arrange it in the manner in which you want, so that it rolls up the hierarchy. You can roll it up in hierarchy, you can drill down into it and groups it nicely so that you can see the subtotals and then the grand total of your P&L or your balance sheet. So, I mean, there are a lot of analysis you can do, especially in a financial institution where Power BI is concerned. That is what makes it a very important tool or exciting tool to use in a financial institution.
Wow. So I think, per where you sit as an organization, you've really benefited from the use of Power BI really immensely in improving your services. And I'm sure no wonder EcoBank is judged as one of the best digital banks in the country and probably Africa at large.
Well, we are not there yet, but we are still doing a lot. And the good thing is we have the buy-in of the C-suite executives. They understand data, and they support and believe in using data to drive decisions. So it gives us that kind of that comfort to say that, look, let's throw in the data there, get the right analysis, and make sure that it's presented in a way that will benefit everybody who uses it. So, for us to make decisions, you should have the data at your fingertips, and that's what we're doing in my organization.
Okay. My main focus of this interview is to help other institutions to be able to adopt these technologies and especially data to be able to make the best in the world as we have it now, in the sense that there is a lot of data lying down in most organizations and they are not being tapped to improve the customer's lot, and therefore which will translate into the business lot, which is the end game of profit. So the whole focus is to help organizations that have not started to begin. But what the question I would want to ask is, how do companies start with Power BI, or in terms of if a financial institution wants to start having improved analytics, where do you think they should start from?
I think we touched on this slightly in an earlier question, where said you should have your data in place. Somebody will say, yes, I have my data. What next? The top hierarchy should also, you should have a buy-in of the executives, okay? Once you have the buy-in of those at the top, it makes the journey easier. It makes the transition easier. Now, I would say, or ask the question differently, that you want your organization to be a data-driven one where they are focusing on data, correct?
Yeah.
So once you have their buy-in, the next thing you have to do is, let me identify what I want to measure in the first place. You have their buy-in. What are they saying that they want to see? Okay. What do you have their buy-in for? They want to be able to use data to drive their decisions that they make on a daily basis. Okay. So you have to sit with them or understand what they want to measure. What metrics you want to see? And choose very simple metrics that go to speak to what you do, metrics that shows that you care for the business or the product that you are trying to offer to your customers. Okay. Once you have that, the next thing we'll be looking at is, do we have the skills in-house? Okay, which I mentioned earlier on.
Yeah.
Once you identify your skills, you sit with the subject matter experts and say, look, these are the key metrics you want to measure, or the KPIs you want to measure. These are people who are technical, okay? They might not have good understanding of the business. So try and bring the business knowledge and technology knowledge together, fuse them. And once you do that, you start delving into the data that you have, modeling it so that it will give you some kind of output or insight into the data that you have. Once you have that, and it's able to tell you that this product is doing better than this other product, Or looking at the face of it, you can see huge transactions of a particular product line. But in reality, the ones that you're not seeing much volumes for is the one that is bringing you more money, something you will not see just looking at it. But once you bring technology and the business knowledge together, it gives you the opportunity to delve into your data and have more insights. So any organization that needs to start using Power BI to do their businesses, that's where you start. Have a buy-in, identify the metrics you want to measure, very simple things. Get the skills in-house, bring your business people together, have some insights. And then I believe that with that, you can start reaping some benefits from what you have put together.
All right. What would be your advice if in a company, if you don't have a C-suite buy-in, is it advisable to start?
You can. It makes the journey a little bit steep, but you can. Why am I saying that? Now, there might be other things that the C-suite execs are looking at. Okay, there might be numerous things they are looking at. Data is one of them, but it's not the topmost. They are more concerned about what is hitting their bottom line, what is bringing them revenue. But you, being the technical person, understands that what they are looking for, you can get that easily for them with the data you have in-house. So you can start from your small corner, get the data, build some analytics out of it, build some KPIs that you think that we'll be looking at, maybe revenue generation KPIs, operational efficiency KPIs, or KPIs that gives you a bit of insight into the experience that the customers whatever the customers are experiencing. If you put that out there in a small meeting, then your boss presents it in another meeting, that particular KPI finds its way to the top. Then straight away, the light will just pop and say, this is what we've been looking for. With this, it will enable me to drive or have more monitoring over my shop. So you can drive it from the bottom up, but it's easier when you're driving from the top, because when you're driving from the top, the issue of data quality, who is looking at it, disappears, because everybody knows that somebody at the top will not go anywhere else, will come straight to get information and insight from the data. So make sure that they also use the data to man their shop floors. So that is the difference. Okay, you can drive from the bottom, you can drive from the top, but when you drive from the bottom, it's a little bit challenging, but it's doable.
Okay. In your view, what is the future of Power BI? Especially, or let's say, let me expand it. What is the future of analytics in the financial industry in Ghana?
It has a lot of let me say, it has a good future. It has a lot that is yet to be mined. We have just scratched the surface. Okay, there are organizations or financial institutions in Ghana who are now looking at descriptive analytics. That is what happened yesterday and why did it happen. Okay, that's where they are. In some organizations, they move ahead, they are on the predictives, that this is what happened yesterday. I think if you look at the data and the trends, applying some statistical functions, they can tell what is likely to happen tomorrow. Then there are some also who have moved into the prescriptive, which is after predicting what is likely to happen,
what should we do?
Tell what can be done. So if it's a good one, what can be done to move it up there so that it happens? If it's a bad one, what can we do to plug it so that it doesn't happen? So if we look at the amount of data we collect on a daily basis from telcos, which are now interfacing with financial institutions, I say there is a lot of data out there that we are yet to feed on. And I will say that a lot of financial institutions are coming to the awareness that what they need to drive or how to generate more revenue or give better services to their customer is all hidden in their data. New products that they will need to design and who to design it for or develop it for is also hidden in the data. So there's a lot of exciting things ahead. And I know that if you find yourself in data analytics at this time of the century, in Ghana, for instance, or in Africa, you're at the right place.
Okay. I would like you to give like your last words to companies that are yet to onboard in the analytics world, especially in Power BI, as well as individuals who are yet to onboard. What would be your words to them, especially in Ghana? So one for companies or institutions, and two is for individuals who want to have probably careers in analytics and Power BI.
Okay. So for organizations, I would say that it pays to be a data-driven organization. Now, there are certain things you need to put in place to be able to achieve quality, or obtain quality insight from your data. The first is the quality of your data. Make sure that the data you are gathering today meets the right requirements to be able to get good insights from it. Also, put some governance in place. The moment we mention governance, then people start thinking, oh, it's a long process, policy here and there. But then the governance also help you to collect the right data, because the insights you can drive is unending. So if you don't put the right structures in place to get the right data, what happens is that when you model your data and you put your analytics out there, your users start questioning it, and it will affect your journey into being a data-driven organization. So your data quality is important. Also, train your people, get the right skills in place. Let everybody use data as a yardstick in everything they do. Okay, so what it means is every decision, there should be the metrics to support it and drive it. I mean, nobody should come and use gut feeling. It should be the data plus your gut feeling, which you need sometimes. Okay, so for organizations, you should have this in place, and also keep it very simple. Nothing too fancy. You start from very simple things and then you grow with it. Because usually when you start with very sophisticated things, it makes it difficult for your users to get on board to understand what you are talking about. Keep it simple, get it from what they are doing today, build on it, and then gradually you all grow with those insights. So for organizations, that's what I can say. For individuals, it doesn't really matter whether you did technology, you did computer science, or not. Get some understanding of data structures. How does data talk to each other? If I see dates of birth and I see this year, what can the two give me? It gives me age.
Yeah.
Just understand those basic things, what data can give you. Also, there are a lot of resources online, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on GitHub. I mean, so many information out there. Learn, train yourself. Just at your leisure time, we use our phone to do a whole lot of things. Get some tools on. I mean, read, watch videos, try your hands on, and don't limit yourself. Somebody will say, I'm looking for a job in data analytics. The question is, you have data in your current organization. Start playing with it. Whatever you read, whatever you watch, try your hands on. If your organization don't have a data and analytics unit, what you start will cause the organization to create a unit for you, because you are leveraging on the Excel files and things that you have, and you are building insight out of it. Clearly, somebody will realize that, oh, we need this thing. We don't have this unit. Let's form one, and then you grow with it. So I believe that you don't have to wait for anybody to train you before you get into data analytics. Train yourself. You have your personal data. You can use it to do something. There's open source data out there. If you go to WHO website, World Bank site, they have a lot of data you can play with. So I will say that don't restrict yourself as an individual. There are a lot of resources there. Tap into it. Organizations, start from somewhere. Know what you want to do. Put the right structures in place. Train your people, and give them the free hand, and they'll give you nice insights.
All right. You touched on something. I'd like you to probably elaborate a little. You are a recruiter as well, because I know you have been expanding your analytics unit and then your business intelligence unit. What do you look out for when hiring?
That's an interesting question. I look for people who are dedicated, committed. They should be ready to innovate. Okay, what do I mean by that? It shouldn't be, this is how it's done, so I'm doing it like that. Ask questions, create things, use to somebody who is a bit inquisitive where data is concerned. I look for somebody who has the drive. It's like all they talk about is insight. And the moment somebody presents a scenario to you, you can quickly put them together and say, look, I can get this out of it, I can get this out of that. I can get this insight, I can model it this way, we can predict. That's what I look out for. But how does it start? It can start from your projects that you did in your uni days, or you come on internship. Some do come in and they just want a job. No, I look for somebody who is dedicated, committed. You might not be too good with data science, but then you understand how to develop visuals. Or you might not be good with data science and visuals or even data engineering, but you can do requirements gathering, analyze the business. You can capture their requirements very well and try to explain that to a data engineer who knows what data to bring in. Those are the things I look out for. But the basics is know a bit of maths, if it's possible, know a bit of stats, if you have that, or a bit of databases. Programming is a plus, and almighty Python. If you have that as well, you can slap it on it. But it's not the main skills I look out for. But at least definitely have some database or data management, understanding of data, and then come with commitments to do your work.
All right. Thank you very much, Sarah, for your time. I'll catch you on other times for different aspects of Power BI and data analysis in general. Sarah is one of the users of Power BI that I'm amazed anytime we talk and anytime I engage her. She's always improving in actually how to use data from the collection through to the deployment, and is always trying to innovate in the Ekuban group, and also trying to increase the value that the organization gets in usage of analytics. And it's been a very wonderful time chatting with her. I hope that you've gotten one or two things if you're a business, I guess you're by now thinking of actually acquiring the Power BI suite to actually improve analytics. This is a very good start. It's an easy tool to onboard. If you're having challenges, you can always contact me. Sarah is also there to actually help. We are hoping to make Ghana a hub to improve insights. And at the end of the day, it's about bringing value to the organization and the country as a whole. So thank you for joining us, and hopefully catch you on the next interview. Subscribe to my channel if you have. Thank you very much, Sarah, and bye.
Thank you.